Welcome to the Playbook for Amazon podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Lieber, and the goal of this podcast is to share what's working today that's helping my company, Turnkey Product Management, sell over 8 figures per year on Amazon for our clients. We will share with you the actionable steps, systems, and playbook that you can plug into your business to boost your sales on Amazon. Let's go. Today we have a very special guest. It is Ezra Firestone. He does a lot of different things, but he's sold over $100 million in his short career and well-accomplished career. And in it, I got to totally pick his brain. We talked a lot about Amazon, and if you're selling on Amazon as a platform, we got into some strategies there. We also got to talk about how to build off of Amazon simultaneously. And if you haven't made that transition or leap, he talks about kind of the baby steps for how to do that. And it actually, really made sense to me. And it was like, wow, a lot of people will, resonate with that and actually get to take action on that. So we really got into some cool stuff. We also got to hear about his interesting background, basically growing up on a commune as a child, and how that influenced his career. So we just got to have a really interesting conversation. And we also are planning to have him back. It was a shorter episode, so it wasn't super long, and I'll have a longer outro at the end where I'll kind of recap and add some 2 cents onto it just to give some actionable takeaways as well. So make sure to tune into the end. Without further ado, let's dive in. All right, on today's episode, we have one of the smartest and funniest people in the marketing world, Ezra Firestone. He is a leading voice in the marketing and e-commerce space, and is most known for his brand Boom, as well as smartmarketer.com and many other things. So thank you so much for coming on, Ezra.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here. One of the funniest looking for sure. I do try to add a little bit of humor to what I do. Thank you so much, man. I love talking to other business owners, Amazon FBA business owners and e-commerce sellers, and, people who are playing this same game at this time. It's an interesting time to be a merchant, and particularly an online merchant. It's a lot of fun to talk to other folks who are doing it.
Absolutely. So wanted to just ask real quick, if you can give a quick background on how you grew up. I know you had a bit of a unique upbringing, and how did that impact the path you ended up taking for your career?
Yeah. I think I've been trying to figure out how to describe this. And I think a good kind of way to describe it is I grew up in an alternative lifestyle experiment, which was an intentional community, which, a lot of people grow up in places like that and it doesn't work out well for them, and I grew up in a place where it really did work out well for me. And this particular community was really focused on how to win at relationships, marriage counseling and communication and all kinds of stuff that aids people. They would help people succeed at their relationships. And so I kind of grew up with this foundational education of interpersonal relationships and human relationships. And that is one thing. If I just were to bring it all back, what's the one thing I feel like really that I got from my upbringing that was very non-traditional in so many ways. I mean, it was a hippie commune, man. It was wild, but, and it was great, but it's that I now have 100 team members. I started with nothing, 103 people on my team. I, started like every entrepreneur. First, I was playing poker for a living, and then I was working a full-time job, building my internet business at night, moonlighting it. And I have every side hustle under the sun. I had to work for every single thing I have. I started with no money. I started from the bottom. Now I'm here. You know what I mean? So I really understand every level of business, from solopreneur doing everything myself to, making no money and struggling really hard for years trying to make it work, through to every kind of stage that you hit that I could run through if you want, up to now being, 25 million, 30 million a year in revenue for the last 4 years. So I've done about over $100 million in the last 4 years, 100 team members, infrastructure, multiple corporations. I really have traveled this journey over the last 13, 14 years, and also got lucky enough to stumble across blogging when it first started, 2005, 6, 7, and began documenting my experience in the e-commerce space. And by virtue of being one of the first people to do it, I got real popular. And that has been really a fun and fulfilling and really amazing path and that I've been able to walk, journey I've been able to travel, because it's allowed me to, meet and engage with and learn from and share with people like you in our industry. And so I've had this sort of interesting journey where, like, always from the jump, first and foremost, I'm a merchant. My dad was a merchant. I grew up selling things at the flea market to try to make money, building our shop, getting the corner spot because that had the most traffic, out there testing crayons versus marker. His dad was a merchant. His dad had, shops on Orchard Street in New York City, and his dad was a merchant. His dad took stuff. So my great grandfather now, got pelts of cotton and wool and took them in a horse-covered wagon from Kolomaya, Ukraine to Vienna, Austria, and sold them. I mean, like, I've been in the merchant game for generations, and my family has. And I am the luckiest of all because I am the only generation so far of Firestone merchants who is not limited by geography. My dad and I, flea market. My great-grandfather, the Orchard Street traffic of when the Jews were selling schmatas on Orchard Street. My great-grandfather, horse-carried wagon, whoever he could find on the side of the road, and markets in Vienna. Me, everybody in the world, man. I'm doing the same thing. I'm building the same shop I built at the flea market, except for I'm building it on the web, and I'm doing the same hustle of getting people's attention. And instead of running out there and trying to grab them and pull them into the shop, I'm running ads. But it's like, it is the same thing. It is just not limited by geography.
Yeah, that's a really interesting take. It makes a lot of sense. So let's fast forward. So let's talk about Boom, a cosmetics company that's doing incredibly well. And I just wanted to ask, like, obviously, it's selling a lot of makeup products, cosmetics. You're a man, nothing wrong with that, but it's probably not as natural to like connect with the customers. And I can relate. My first company was selling baby products and puppy products. I didn't have a dog or a baby. And so I didn't know how to connect at all with the customers. I struggled with that. So how would you communicate to sellers that are in that situation where it's, not necessarily they're the face of it?
You do your best to understand the experience of the people you're selling to. And one of the best ways to understand that is to interview a whole lot of them and see what common threads come up, to really put yourself in their shoes and try to understand their life experience and the problems that they're facing so that you can support them in solving those. And also to have a collaborator who is that person. This is Cindy Joseph. She and I started Boom together. She passed away last year, sadly. We started Boom together in 2010. And Cindy was the demographic. And so she had a lot of the life experience of the customers we were selling to, and she could kind of bring that side to it. I understood a lot about marketing, and I also was raised by a bunch of baby boomer women. So I understood the life, what they reported to me, the hormonal changes, the shift in their skin, being drier and having wrinkles, the hair graying, I've understood as much as I can without having the experience that they're going through. But it's helpful to have someone who you're close to, who's having it, who you can talk to.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. So let's talk about on Amazon, how do you recommend that physical product brands fit Amazon into their business model? Because I know you are big as well on Shopify, paid ads, a lot of off Amazon stuff. So how does Amazon fit in?
I think Amazon is the absolute best place to start as a merchant today. I think it's perhaps the greatest sales channel in the history of e-commerce. Everybody knows, half of all American revenue runs through Amazon, e-commerce, physical product transactions. And, the thing to understand about Amazon is that it's not a brand and it's not a business. It's a cash flow channel, and that it can be used to launch a brand and it can be used to launch a business. But in and of itself, it has 1/10 to 1/3 the asset value of a brand that's not on Amazon. So it's not that it's not worth anything, and it's not that it's not an asset, but it's just that it's not as valuable of an asset as if the brand has a footprint off of Amazon. And so I would say the first step is really optimize Amazon. Get your listing down, get your Amazon sponsored ads going, get yourself ranking, get yourself brand registry, fortify yourself in the world of Amazon as best you can. Set up your, product detail pages to have videos if you can get that. Run Amazon media group, do Amazon well, and then take 10 to 20% of the money that you're making on Amazon and invest it in paid amplification off of Amazon, but at first only to generate email addresses and pixeled audiences and still send everyone back to Amazon. So the first level of advertising of an Amazon brand off of Amazon is actually still maintaining Amazon as the commerce engine, as the shopping cart, but using your paid amplification and using the energy that the brand has, i.e. the money it's generating, to build a footprint to generate brand assets such as email subscribers, Facebook Messenger subscribers, SMS subscribers, and pixeled audiences, which are people who visited your site or watched your video, so that now your brand is one level more valuable than a normal Amazon brand. A normal Amazon brand has no assets. All it has, Amazon owns the customer, Amazon owns the listing, Amazon's going to backdoor you to your supplier, people are going to negatively downvote you and attack you, people are going to rip you off and knock off your products. It's a dirty, filthy world out there in terms of what can happen to merchants. I've had all these experiences myself. I'm sure you've talked to merchants who've really experienced the dark side of Amazon. Amazon is a big positive plus wonderful side, and it's got a real deep, dark well of bad shit that happens to merchants who are good merchants, who are not doing anything wrong, pardon my language. So one way to fortify yourself from that is to use the energy and money of your brand to begin to build a footprint off of Amazon, which starts with just brand assets, email addresses. And I have a tool called Zipify Pages that allows you to do this. A lot of my customers are Amazon business owners, and they'll build out a pre-sell landing page for their product that it sells it on Amazon. So it's like a sales page, and the sales page is like, talks all about the product, how wonderful it is, and says, hey, get 10% off on Amazon. Click here, enter your email address, and then it sends them to Amazon. Or just buy this on Amazon, click, goes over to Amazon. And they drive traffic from Facebook, they pixel that person, they collect that person's email address, and then they send them to Amazon to buy. And now they have a bit of a footprint that is beyond Amazon. And then eventually, as time goes on, you work towards starting to capture sales on your own website, like a Shopify site. But you don't start there. You start going deep into Amazon, getting that as best you can get going, then building brand assets off Amazon, using Amazon as the commerce engine still, and then build your own site.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to describe it. So a lot of people just kind of overwhelmed, like, well, I got to send it all to Shopify, figure out how to convert. But that's a great way to start, is with Amazon, get that dialed, dude, and then switch over.
Yeah, in the South, and I don't like this analogy, but they say, starve your ponies and feed your stallions. Amazon's your stallion, and you got to feed it. And if you have Amazon working and it's generating cash, and you're like, oh no, Amazon's volatile, I better go put all my energy into building something off Amazon. Well, it's like, yeah, you should put some energy on that, but Amazon's what's paying your bills. And if you can feed that and get it to keep going, keep 80% of your energy there. Don't get new shiny object syndrome and try to run off and do a whole bunch of stuff you don't understand. Double down on what's working for you, and then commit to, because here's the thing about paid amplification, Jeff, that people don't understand, is it's like a diet or a workout program where you have to do it every day and it has to compound. And a lot of people start and they plant the seed and they begin watering it with ads, and they begin building a footprint of email subscribers, pixeled audiences, and then they turn the little sprout plant. It's like just after winter, before the spring, it hasn't quite popped through the crust of the earth, and they shut it off because they don't see everything that's happened. And it's like, you have to pick I'm going to spend $100 a month off of Amazon building brand assets, and you have to do that every day or every month for a year. Like, you have to do it consistently. You can't turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. It doesn't work. It's like a diet. It's like a workout program. It's like growing a plant. It requires daily energy, which is a budget, and let it run.
Love it. So what are some strategies that maybe are like on Amazon strategies that are helping you either rank or boost sales, like specifically on the Amazon channel?
Well, traffic outside of Amazon is like the best thing, because Amazon's like, oh man, this person is driving visibility into our platform. That's a ranking factor for sure. You know all the Amazon ranking factors. You don't need to ask me about the Amazon ranking factors. I'm sure you've gone over them 100 times on this show, but it's like, there's a lot of factors that go into how they consider you relevant for a particular query. Everything from how your page is listed, to the conversion rate of that product, to the other people in the market, to the title, to how much outside traffic you have, to your sales velocity, to your BSR, to all that kind of stuff. And the game is really about, like I'm saying, do the fundamentals, optimize your Amazon listing. If you don't have ads running, if you don't have Amazon sponsored ads, you're not going to rank as much as if you did. Even if you just turned them off, you'll notice that your organic rankings tank as well. So you have to go deep on Amazon, which is what guys like you teach, and then add into it, taking energy from outside of Amazon and putting it into Amazon as phase 2. And that is the best thing you can do to rank on Amazon, is take energy from Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Google and shoot them into the Amazon. Even if they don't convert super well, Amazon sees outside traffic come into your listing and you get rewarded for that.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. On the Amazon review front, it's obviously gotten a lot tougher to get Amazon reviews, Amazon verified reviews. Do you have any strategies or things that are working to like help get that initial boost of reviews, or, especially ongoing?
Well, reviews have only gotten harder every month, even. Reviews are still getting deleted. Reviews are hard to get verified. And you can do the kind of thing where you build up an audience outside of Amazon, the way I'm talking about. Then you launch a new product on Amazon and you give them a small discount. And those don't, even if it's a small discount, 5 or 10%, those can still be verified. And you say, hey, review it. You don't incentivize, but you request effectively. Like if you have an audience, I'm back to the same thing I've been saying the whole time. If you have an audience outside of Amazon that you've been building, it's a lot easier to get a lot of things to happen on Amazon, like reviews from those people. And, a lot of Amazon buyers will review you naturally because Amazon follows up and asks for reviews. So once you get selling and your sponsored ads are working, and once you have your first 10 reviews, then the rest of them are going to come in naturally at a good pace if you're selling well. And then you can also work on the audiences that you have outside of Amazon, asking them to review you and giving them special incentives to do so that are, gray area within TOS. I don't break TOS, but so you can't make the incentive too crazy, but you can say, hey, we were launching this new product, have this new product. You can go get it here and please leave a review. Hey, we saw that you bought it. Please, you can really aggressively follow up. And I think that aggressive follow-up has always been the best way to get a review.
Yeah, no, I think that makes perfect sense. And, it's challenging for people to do that, but they just need to keep it simple, like what you just said. So
it's very difficult to do, right? You can't even email them anymore that much in there. It's like,
yeah,
Amazon is trying, and it's in the benefit of, the best thing in the world would be if there was no way for Amazon merchants to hustle people into giving reviews, and all we could do as merchants was run ads and make our offer compelling and try to rank. And then when people bought our stuff, let Amazon handle the review follow-up for every merchant. And then that way, all the reviews would be legit and you wouldn't have to worry about it. And I think that's kind of the model they're trying to move towards, is make it way harder for sellers to manipulate reviews. And I think they're doing a good job.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I think that's a great way to end it, and hopefully that's helpful for a lot of people. And so, yeah, Ezra, can you tell us what else you got going on? Where can people follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Ezra Firestone. I'm constantly publishing, good e-commerce content about how to do well there. And also smartmarketer.com is my information blog. I share a lot of what's working for us and our brands on that blog. And also, if you're on Shopify, I have some pretty fun tools over at zipify.com, Zipify. Hey, thanks for having me on the show. I know we kind of just were high level and I kind of said the same thing a whole bunch, but even though it is I feel like people overcomplicate things, and what you have to understand is what is the overarching strategy and what are you trying to achieve? And then you just got to keep it simple and take the next step towards that. And so I stand by my simple advice. I just want to say thanks.
Of course. Thank you. And I've been following you for years and I've learned a lot from you. So keep doing it the way that you're doing it. You stand out from the crowd. I love your saying, serve the world. You serve the world unselfishly and profit. So keep doing what you're doing. Thanks, Ezra.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much to Ezra Firestone for coming on the show. That was truly an honor, and it was awesome to hear his story. He has, obviously had an interesting path, and he's done so much and accomplished so much, and there were a lot of lessons that we talked about in there. And just to recap a couple of them, I really loved what he said about Amazon. He said is the best channel to start with and stay focused on at first, right? That was so clarify. I actually thought that he might say the opposite, like, oh no, you should do Shopify and Facebook ads and all that first, because that's what he's so well known for, is because he's such an expert there. But it was interesting that he still strongly believes and says that Amazon is the best sales channel in the history of the world, right? That's pretty powerful of him to say, and it makes sense to focus on that because it's easier to to be successful and launch and start on Amazon. And then once you start having some success, then I love what he said about, just start reinvesting, say 10% of both your time and money, and profits and all that into the off Amazon stuff, right? Once you start getting some real success on Amazon, then focus on that. And you don't need to totally, distract yourself, right? Just start small. And he actually said, send that outside traffic, and whether it's paid media or content or whatever you're doing, send it to Amazon in the beginning, just because it's simpler, right? You still are building the Amazon, keep feeding the beast. I thought that was so well said. But then once you really get going, and then you can start, diverting it to Shopify or whatever your website platform is, and really dialing that in. And then, hopefully one day your Shopify and all that will become the biggest part of your business, right? Where you control that. And that's awesome. But I think he just laid out a really, really good plan. On that note, like if you are feeling stuck in Amazon, like if you know that you want to focus on that Shopify store, you want to go build it, or you want to optimize it, or you want to go hire someone or do it yourself, as far as like running Facebook ads or Instagram ads or Google ads, and trying to build that off Amazon sales channel. What I would recommend is, if you are feeling overwhelmed, like at Turnkey, we have a lot of different ways that we could help, either take that off of your plate, or we can help you streamline it or automate it, either with us doing it for you, or we can coach you, or we can give you sort of, help you identify what are the pain points in your business. And maybe we could help you streamline that, like give you, the strategies, or give you the better systems in place so that you can more efficiently and effectively run Amazon, to free up your time so that you can go focus on the off Amazon activities that build you into a bigger brand, right? A more valuable brand. And so if you are interested in struggling with that, definitely just head over to turnkeyproductmanagement.com. There should be an apply button at the top of the page. That's the easiest place. Just fill that out, and then we'll see how we can best help you. We'll get a little info about kind of where you're at, and we'll try to find ways to help you. But regardless, what Ezra said today was just so helpful, I think, for a lot of you out there. And I hope that you guys take it to heart and take action on it, and enjoyed that. So thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast or leave us a review. That always helps us a whole lot, and we love hearing from you as well. So thank you guys, and thank you, Ezra, for coming on. It was a really fun interview, and looking forward to part 2. We was talking with Ezra after. Since it was a shorter interview, we want to do a follow-up one and really dive into some heavier topics or more in the details. And so that's coming soon as well. So thank you guys so much. Hope you enjoy.